Screen Actors Guild, I know, is the first one. And then the other one is the
SAG,
writers.
that's right, yeah.
That's SAG. And then the other one is the... I feel bad that I don't know. Whatever. But there's basically only going to be 2 movies this summer, right? That's Barbie and Oppenheimer. The rest are all nothing.
Is that the connection?
And Mission Impossible 6, 7.
6
8,
only? Jeez.
8. I don't know.
Have you...
But Oppenheimer is supposed to be pretty cool. I mean, it's supposed to be. It's Christopher Nolan. He doesn't make bad movies.
Yeah, typically. Yeah.
You know, the last one was Tenet. It was weird. Had that weird time travel stuff in it. That was neat.
Is that kind of like that one album from the Beatles? Was just kind of weird, but still good.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the stuff about the whole idea, like that. I think, from what I understand, is that he didn't. The take on it is that he didn't know what he was actually making until he made it. He didn't understand the power, and it's the existential dread that it caused. I think a lot of us can relate. I don't know.
And that in conjunction with Barbie coming out,
yeah, Barbie looks fun.
It does look actually fun.
It's going to be a fun movie to watch.
Saw a couple clips. I don't know if they cast it very well for Ken, though. You know, I mean, sure, he's got a great body and everything, but he just didn't really look like Ken to me. I don't know. Hey, dude, we're online.
Are we on the internets?
Yeah, we are.
We're on the internets. Welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons & Dragons. I am Ben and Gaosheng.
I am Tim and Taizhong.
And we're Critters in Taiwan.
Yep.
So how are you now, Tim?
I'm good. A little, not really stressed, but a little stressed about the trip back home, you know, because I'm taking off for the airport tomorrow night. So I'm just, packing today, meeting up with a couple friends tonight to sort everything out, and then tomorrow night, because my flight's on 6:45 Thursday morning, so I'm going to go out tomorrow night, the latest bus that I can get, and then...
What is the status in Alaska right now?
Status, like temperature and weather and shit?
Sure. Also, what's the legalization status in Alaska?
First to be legalized.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They did it
first
early.
To be decriminalized, at least.
Right. They did it real early.
Colorado was the first to be able to buy at a dispensary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot about that. I do remember that. Hey, you're going to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it's been since before COVID since I went there, so I might be surprised on how many, or it's a small town, so if there's a dispensary to just walk in and check it out.
There's a dispensary in every town. There is. That's just the way it is now.
Yeah. I really nobody in my family really does it. So, but one of the visitors that is coming with me, they're into it, or they use it for medicinal purposes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm checking. There we go.
Oh yeah, so I should probably say
it's about like 10 degrees Celsius these days. 10, 15.
That's like what it is right here too.
It's not. Don't listen to Ben.
I don't know. I'm hoping one day.
Hey,
we've got a little chin down there, bud. I've never seen.
Yeah, maybe move that up. There we go.
I think I've seen single digits once in Kaohsiung. Once.
That's hard to imagine. Like the lowest I remember here was 9.
Yeah, I think it went to 9 or 8, and like a long time ago. But last year it went down to 12. I had a thermometer on my balcony, and it went right. I took pictures of it. I was like, "Whoa, it's 12 degrees here." That's close.
And it's also real nice, It's not global warming; it's climate change. The extremes are both going to be approached.
Listen, man, I'm fully on board with what most scientists talk about this. The ones that are in the know. Global warming is not a problem. Global cooling is a problem.
Yeah.
Global warming we can live with. I mean, it's going to be uncomfortable and it's going to be shitty for some species. We'll be fine. The problem
bad for the oceans.
It's going to be bad for a lot of things. But the problem is that global warming can lead to global cooling. Mm-hmm. That's where things start to get real bad. Real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad. All the major extinctions were mass extinctions on Earth were mostly because of global cooling.
Well, there's not been a whole lot of global heating in the history of the Earth.
Yeah. Wow. I imagine things got pretty hot when that asteroid hit the last one.
Yeah.
Second last one.
Especially localized.
We're in the. Did you see that news? They've classified. They finally have classified what we're in right now as the sixth, the Anthropocene.
The what? What are you talking about here?
We're in the beginning of the sixth mass extinction on Earth, and they named it.
Sake.
They've officially named it called the Anthropocene.
Anthropocene.
Because Anthropocene.
Anthropocene.
Yeah, and anthropogenic.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Meaning we're doing it. It's us.
Right. We've done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went straight to entropy, and I was like, wait, entropic? Like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, it's fun.
Like,
Fun to
we're
watch.
fucking it up. Yeah. It's glad they labeled that. Maybe people will pay attention.
Yep.
Anyway, we're here to talk about.
Oh yeah, episode number 65, A Path of Vengeance.
A Path of Vengeance.
Yeah. Yeah.
A Path of Vengeance.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the conceptualizing of a path of vengeance, perhaps.
I think what it refers to is that now they're on the way to stop lewdness. He's fucked up all their lives pretty badly. The Ruby Vanguard infiltrated Bell's Hells and traumatized them pretty badly. Orem was murdered. Keyleth was attacked. Chetney, he's old. I don't even know. FCGs, the stuff. Imogen and Laudna and Fern and all of them. They're I don't know, man. They need their vengeance. It feels like a lot of it is from Orem and Laudna.
Yeah. They never really struck me as a vengeful type of people, though, They're all just kind of like figuring themselves out, and lewdness just kind of in the way.
Well, yeah, maybe. But I think it's that, remember what the whole point of why Orem and Fern were in, and Dorian, why they were in. No. Why did they come to Jassar in the first place? They were on a mission to find out why Keyleth had been attacked. Right?
Oh yeah,
Going all the way back there. So that's this is kind of, it's in the same vein, I guess, same trajectory.
Yeah, well, that's directly connected, right? Get her involved so that he's involved, so that Keyleth shows up, and then he shows up, so they make the lens, and then now they have their fucking Malia's key. That just spanned the entire fucking third campaign, but yes,
pretty much. And now I think that they're looking for revenge, venging. Maybe not revenge.
I don't know. People are trying to make that a word.
Venge. They don't need revenge.
What's really cool is that Matthew had this in mind at the springboard of this campaign. He's like, hey, the reason that they're here is because of this. We'll get back to that in 50 episodes.
I wonder, I was thinking about that a little bit, about the whole idea of Ruidus to begin with. I wonder if when he created Exandria and put two moons in, if you go back, I haven't done this, but if you go back, and people have sort of talked about him mentioning Ruidus in the in campaign 1 and campaign 2, it's just talked about as like this little tiny thing that just sort of is there. And I wonder if I think we talked about this before, if it really was supposed to be a prison, if it was like, I think it's this one. The first time that Travis, where does he say it? Travis, I think this is there it is. Way down at the end of the episode. Travis says the ice cream scoop analogy. He's like, did they really just ice cream scoop the city out of Exandria and then fling it up into the sky and trying to get it away, but it just never didn't go far enough? Is that what Ruidus is? Is that the, I don't know. Did Matt have that idea at the very beginning? Goes back to what I was talking about last week about the whole thing about plot holes and about if people are checking his stuff, because there's so many things. Hey, quick thing. I have a little tag here on my notes. Before we get into the thing, is that cool?
Yeah.
The one of the things I just wanted to talk about because I think it's interesting is that in the ad read at the beginning before the intro, they talked about a bunch of stuff, and then they talked about going to San Diego Comic Con, Rose City Comic Con, which is in Oregon, I think, New York City Comic Con, which is in New York.
Wait.
And,
okay. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep. And then, but they didn't. So those are the 3 cons they're doing next month or 2 months. But they didn't talk about the live show. I think this episode might have been recorded before they made the announcement.
When you say the live show, what are you referring to?
I sent you the link. I did a few days ago. Oh, come on, man! You got to read your emails or your
emails. Who checks emails?
Whatever. They're doing a Mighty 9 reunion live show. The first one since I remember when Campaign 2 episode like 80 something, 90 something maybe. And dude, guess where they are doing it? They're doing it at the OVO Arena in Wembley in the UK, in London.
Oh,
I looked this up. It seats 13,000 people.
I have it here.
There
It was
it is.
overshadowed by the last comment you said. An excellent 6-sided, 4-sided dive. Looking forward. 6 folks, you say. I didn't see the other parts.
Right.
I just saw that part right there.
Okay.
I didn't see that link right there. Holy shit.
Yeah, 13,000. It's the second biggest arena in London. And like the O2 is the big one. But 13, it says 12,500 seats, which means like 13,000 people. That's a big show. That's a real big show. I'm going to say it's probably 3 times bigger than any other live show they've done.
Yeah, and it's kind of about time. It's been so long since I've had a live episode.
Yeah.
But I understand why it might be difficult to do a live episode because of their taping. They might be banking episodes, but I guess maybe now.
Well, this is a Mighty 9 reunion show.
Right. Oh, right.
This is not Campaign 3.
Right. Okay. Sorry, separation there.
Yeah.
But
so this will
the
be
Mighty 9 reunion show. What the fuck are they going to do this time?
No idea. Is this
Like,
after
what did they
Uka's
not do
gotta be-
last time? You know.
Well, they fought Ukatoa last time, so
Well,
this will probably
yeah,
be
but I'm just saying,
after
what did they
Ukatoa.
not do? You know.
I don't know.
Like, what are they going to pick up this time for a one shot?
I don't know, but I'm excited about it.
Me too.
They're saying some really shitty things about it though. Is that like they're, well, it kind
Who's
of
this
like I don't know.
they?
Yeah, the Critical Role web page talking about how don't worry if you can't get tickets, we will let you know when you can watch it and blah blah blah. I'm like, "Arr, that's not fair. You should stream it on Twitch. Just stream it on Twitch. Stream it live on Twitch.
I understand if they don't want to. You know, I mean, they do it live anyway, right? Maybe they've gotten soft.
That's what she said.
Oh boy, I don't see edit cuts. You know, like
I know.
it's constant video. Of course, it's live.
Sad. You could absolutely. I mean, if you really are concerned about this stuff, put a delay on it. You know, have somebody on the trigger if
put
you're
the
really
beep
concerned about.
just in case.
Yeah, just in case. But stream it on Twitch, man. Stream it on Twitch. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see that
Live
too.
stream it.
You know, like I don't live stream my practices, even though I kind of want to. You know, with the boys on Thursdays, because nobody says anything like controversial words. But what if one slips out one time? Then I get canceled. Like,
I don't think that's a thing. Hey, anyway, I just wanted to say that's pretty cool. That's big news.
yeah. Well, I'm glad
Yeah,
that
it's a
I
Mighty
finally
Nine
saw it. Hey.
Yeah, Mighty 9 reunion. It's cool, but it's a lot of people and it's a live show. So we haven't seen one in ages. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah, it's true. Shit.
It's been 4 years.
What's the date on that one? I just saw it.
October 25th.
Oh, okay, we got time.
Yeah.
We
sure
got
they'll-
time.
I'm sure they'll be letting us know. Hey, let's get into this.
Okay, sure.
You said you got a thing tonight, so let's do a thing.
Yeah, I got a little thing at 7. I got a couple of
I got
people
a
coming
math
over
rock.
to help me get the fuck out of here. Launch right into rollies.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it. My Ford die won this time, so I'm going to lose all my rolls tonight with a 13 to start.
I got a 2.
Nope, that's not Ben. There we go. Let's turn that into me. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start with this little 4-sided dive, which I know that you watched when it came out, and I just finished watching it today, which basically meant I started it over. Very simple thing. This is by far my favorite one.
Oh, this was a real good one.
Really good one. I was
Yeah.
constantly engaged, even after the break when they started playing that game, which is a really short segment this time. And so, like,
Werewolf by Night or One Night as a Werewolf or whatever it was. It was
Yeah.
a fun game. I'd play it. It
Yeah,
looks
I'd
a
play
fun
it
little
too.
Party, quick little party game when you don't know what to do and the conversation's lagging. You're like, hey, let's pull out the cards and play.
yeah, and
good one.
that's kind of what they did. I don't think there was anything. I don't think they did any tankard or if they did, I don't remember them.
No, I think they answered that first part. Well, I'm not gonna say half, but that first part was the majority of the show.
Yeah, and it was
They answered everything.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And just
So what do you got?
and once again, like I said it last episode too, Emily just incredible. Her insight, her energy, she's just I want her back. I want her to be a part of the cast. I may have a little crush on her. She's amazing.
Her alternate character ideas were ridiculous. I loved them so
The
much.
bride that got shunted out of her wedding.
Beautiful. So cool. Just that's the idea, right? That's D&D at its finest. Is don't go with the standard normal thing. I mean, do if you want to. It's your first few times through, but if you're a little bit of a vet, have some fun. Take a chance.
Yeah, take a chance. And I think Matthew, I'm sure, is busy as fuck. But then her coming in with like, all right, I've got this idea, I got this idea, like 7 ideas, 8 ideas, whatever, and Matthew's like, this is great that you have all these, but I do have a full plate, so can we just choose one?
Yep.
He can't say like, please don't give me so many characters, because you want that, you want that passion, you want that depth, of
I think
of
it
a
was. I think
person.
Liam asked actually. He's like, "Have you ever played a wizard before?" And she said, no, not like that. She'd done like the other casters before and things, but this was her first big wizard, and that was. I love that. I'm a big fan of doing things you've never done before in D&D. It makes things way more fun for you.
Yeah, like she was like, she always wanted to, but it just never really worked out in the cards.
Yep.
But it was always her favorite class because
Yep.
so many spells. It means you can have so many different,
Yeah.
avenues of things. And she's very well trusted in that category because apparently playing a wizard is kind of difficult because you got a lot of shit to memorize or keep
Not the
abreast of.
easiest. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but she's got that confidence for sure. I have that confidence in her. Yeah.
The danger with being a wizard is that you start playing it like a warlock or a sorcerer. Is you just become a one-trick pony. You're like, oh, you're just going to rely on these spells and just keep doing them over and over again. But there's so much more. I mean, that's also one of those things because if you're playing it raw, that you have to go find the spells. Like clerics just get access, druids just get access, sorcerers get access, but it's limited. Warlocks get access, but they're limited. Wizards actually have to go out and find.
Yeah, they have to go and they study it and they write it down.
Find them, search them out, beg, borrow, steal, however they can get them, and then copy them into the spell book. So it is, you get all the spells, way more spells than any other class, but you got to get them.
Yeah, there's so much RP in that, as we saw in campaign 2 with Dirty Wizard.
With the hobo wizard. That's where the DM comes in, right? It's like you gotta do some finagling with the DM, and
Yeah, to figure out why you get this when you level up and stuff like that. Like you can you get a spell without leveling? You can't, right? Because certain things are allowed for these. Okay.
Yep.
Because I had that question a lot in campaign 2 with Dirt Wizard. He was like, he's always studying, spending all of his money on paper and all this shit and this magic ink and shit like that. And then when he finally leveled up, he's like, hey, I think I got this.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean that's sort of that's the RP aspect of it, and a good player will sort of do that. It's like you're level 4, and at level 5 you get this ability or this spell level or whatever. So you're like, I'm gonna start in downtime. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do this thing, and I'm gonna try this, and I'm gonna practice this move, but I don't quite got it yet, but soon. And then when you level up, you're like, hey guys, guess what? I figured it out. All I needed to do was twist my back a little bit, and now I can do that thing. And and suddenly it's or I had to wiggle my fingers this way, and now I know how to cast the spell. And those sorts of ideas is that you RP it until it happens.
Yeah, that was a real nice touch between Knot and Caleb back in the day, where it's like, oh yeah, you taught me how to do this, and I twist this little wire in front of my face, and you can reply to this message.
Yeah.
You know, it was a real like it RP'd smoothly. You know,
Very, very.
like as an arcane trickster worked perfectly. You know, with their relationship.
Yeah, it was good.
It was well done.
Very good.
But we're not talking about campaign 2. That's my tiny little point. That 4SD was great. And I've got a couple more things to say about it, but
okay, well, I'm going to say that the ramifications of the guests, this is going to be my yes end, has really, as we expected, we knew it would, but as they're coming back together, it took minutes before the disparity between the groups starts getting hashed out. As they didn't just come together. They've been together. They were together for most of the last episode, but now that the guests are gone, now the claws and teeth start coming out, and it starts with Laudna.
Yeah,
she's the anger and the upsetness all starts coming out, and I was surprised that they didn't really dig into it as much as they did a little bit. And FCG had a fun little moment of stress, and I think one of the first times in the campaign, maybe the first time he swore, could be. He told Chet to
he
fuck
swore
off.
Last time he got the stress points.
Okay, yeah,
he did the same thing, like "fuck you," that kind of thing.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
But that's about it.
Right, I wasn't sure,
except for one other case, perhaps.
It's it got a little interesting there. Yeah, I got a little bit tense, a little bit. I was sort of. Here's my thing. Why do you think Orem? This is sort of my question about this. Why do you think Orem didn't really step in and start talking about some of the things that Liam talked about on Four-Sided Dive, about Orem sort of this is war. This is the idea of like giving Laudna the nod for Bordor and sort of shifting his path a little bit. But he didn't really say any of that when they were talking, right?
Yeah, he didn't. He does also talk in Four-Sided Dive about how he's playing a character that kind of internalizes everything, like not too different from Caleb, but towards the end with Caleb was kind of a little bit more out with things, a little bit more. But Orem, he's this kind of goes into another thing I have here, but it's fine. He's just now kind of feeling this cracking of his foundation, as he kind of stated in 4SD. So I don't know if he knows how to react, Orem,
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Because like he's seeing the shit and this is wartime. Like, this is how life is going at this point. Don't disagree with it, but it's shaking my core,
Interesting.
So, okay. Because I saw Four-Sided Dive after this current episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I really got. I'm sort of surprised he didn't. That's all.
Yeah, and he was saying in Four-Sided Dive, he was also saying like he was trying to find space, like he climbed up that fucking tree one time and Bordor tried to go out and get him, and which he did find him.
Yep.
He was like, yeah, I tried to get my solitude, and he was like, yeah, and I climbed a tree to hang out with you. He kind of wanted his alone time because, hey, I've been there before where it's like something big happens. It's just like, I need some time. I need some space. Whereas other people, they're like, I need people. I need hugs. Like
the therapy is different for everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of the point. Hey, should we do rollies again?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go through a bunch of these rollies quick.
All right. Yeah, I've got a nice little, Mr. Ford die.
Oh, hello. Okay. All right.
It's looking right at you, buddy.
All right.
Well, I'm going to launch right into this instead of the Four-Sided Dive thing.
Yeah, use that natural 20.
We have confirmation that these people watch our show.
Oh.
I mean, because that's, the two parties, wildly different experiences. Where one party, they got the shit end of the stick, and the other side, they had a threesome. They got fucking laid for the first time. You know, like they're having a party, and over here, they're just all dark. And we were talking about that, like, are they ever going to bring it up when they finally see each other for the next time? Like, is it going to come up, or are they going to be too happy to see each other? And then what happened at the very start of this episode? Exactly what you and I talked about. Mostly your credit, because you're the one that brought it up. So we know, of course, that the cast watches our show.
They're paying attention.
Thanks, Critical Role. Thank you for checking us out.
Yeah.
What else was there? I mean, you can tack on anytime you want. Orem losing his moral compass.
Yep.
That also got brought up in this episode. You know, he was like, I'm a little bit shaken, but he wasn't super open about it.
Right.
That also got brought up, like, I think in the second half. You know, he finally had a chance to talk about it.
Yeah, he talks a little bit after the Raven Queen stuff. I think,
and then
right?
the third one that I have written.
Dusk Maven.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Raven Queen. The Dusk Maven, not the Raven Queen.
Right. Yeah.
It's a Raven Queen. But it's
the Maven Queen.
Dusk.
She's the queen of mavens. And then the third one I have written down is that Amy kind of barfing her backstory, like, without a lot of provocation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Where like, oh, is she doing the opal thing again? Or has she controlled herself? But then she gives Liam accolades during Four-Sided Dive, where it's like,
yes.
Yeah, like, I just came out and just said, you guys know Dariax? Just like, whoa, where's this coming from? You know? And then she also kind of divulged her real name, but that made sense because it sounded like the same name, and I think that was an actual thing that happened. Yeah,
you get the feeling that she played Denise real smart, like real like true to the character, right?
Yes.
This is who she actually is, and a little bit better. Opal felt sort of all over the map. It felt like there was a little bit of I don't know where I'm going with this anymore, but Denise felt a little bit more driven. She actually is this way.
A little more controlled.
More well-rounded.
Yeah, perhaps a little more experienced as a player, you know? Who knows? You know, and she was saying to Orem during the Four-Sided Dive, she just told him, I was like, you had that restraint. I asked you, had you had somebody before? And he just kind of loosely said, like, yeah, you know, but you love and lose. And just left it alone. And she was like, that restraint. That's admirable, you know?
Sure.
I'm like, hey, good for you, Amy. Like, game recognized game, I suppose, but I guess she's got to work on her game a little bit, but we got some thunder going on out there, man.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it just got real dark here, and it's just starting to rain.
It's looking ominous in your room there.
Dude. Well, I don't have many lights on, right? Because it was
I'm hearing rumbles.
Out, but
it's nice.
Yeah, it just got real dark outside.
My keyboard, I have the backlit rainbow things that just kind of go. It went dark for a second there, so I'm a little worried about my electricity right now.
Should be fine. Okay, listen, I'm gonna you good? You got yours? You got through yours?
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch gears a little bit.
Those are three things that I noticed that we had talked about, and coincidentally, they bring it up in their next fucking talk.
Yeah.
You know.
So here's what I want to say. This is sort of my double part maybe thing. It's got a couple of parts to it. We'll see. Near the beginning of this, when they're sort of hashing all the events out, and they're like, yeah, we had a very different time than you did. You guys had a threesome, you went shopping, you did all this fun stuff, met Santa Claus and blah, blah, blah. They had a very different adventure in Asilra. And I thought, I wanted to get your take on what I felt they were justifying killing gods, attacking gods, killing not killing gods, but killing the people, killing the minions, the henchmen, the
temple
voices,
in that shitty city.
Temple, yeah, in the Dawnfather stuff with Mordor killing the angel, and they didn't really have any qualms about just sort of doing that. And then as they were kind of hashing it out, they were like, well, yeah, because they're shitty. Gods suck. And then FCG was like, wait a minute. But the rest of them, I mean, Ashton and Laudna and Orem even, they're just sort of like, yeah, they suck. So maybe we need to, you know, get rid of them. And then the what do you think about that? What's your take on that?
We touched on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, well, they just kind of showed up out of nowhere and they kind of like oppressed us into worshiping this god, right? Like, like collecting tithes and shit. Weren't they doing that?
Yeah, they were. They didn't really say how much, but they said they definitely were. And then there were some
But there was money that they had, and they
allegations.
gave it back, right? So
Some
they
of
didn't
it.
really say how much, but
No, and then there was a bunch of allegations of like abuse and maybe like some stuff happening. If he touches one of the townspeople said if he touches my wife one more time, blah blah blah.
yeah. And
But then I mean, like really, where I want to go with this, if you don't mind,
go ahead.
this is sort of my second part of this is right at the end of this episode. Ashton starts going into a big long soliloquy about his history, his life, his backstory, and the gods.
I was a little curious about that because it seemed kind of out of nowhere.
It did, but I think it ties into this. He says, paraphrasing, he got more of a response from a pile of earth than the gods, which is referring to the earth elemental. And I think this is going into, fuck the gods, we need to go back to the Titans. Because if you remember the nice little string, the eidolons. The eidolons Matt sort of alluded to, and they sort of know this kind of, that the eidolons are fragments of the Titans, right? And the eidolons were the ones that were giving power to the druids, which allowed them to take down the temple of the Dawnfather. Now,
In this little city, in this little town,
yeah, a couple episodes ago, right? The eidolons were the ones that gave the power to the druids to be able to pull down the entire temple. So Ashton starts talking about how the pile of earth, you remember that when the earth elemental started smashing and then the vines come out of the jungle, out of the forest, and they start pulling the temple down and it destroys it.
Okay. Yep.
That was all the power of the eidolons.
Okay.
Then they go into the forest and they meet a bunch of little spirits and they're all cool and they have these little moments. Ashton's talking about how, fuck this. The more response from a pile of earth than he ever did from the gods. This is the Titans. But we conveniently forget, or they've forgotten, or they don't care. The Titans also wanted to wipe out the mortals on Exandria. This is the reason why the gods, betrayers, and primes all banished the Titans, because the Titans wanted the mortals gone. Now, this is where I started getting into this weird existentialism. What does that mean? Just hear me out here.
Take your time.
If we're talking about the Titans wanting to wipe out the mortal life, well, what about where is this? I was a biologist for many years, and I started thinking about ecosystems and about like an ecosystem has all forms of life and not life. So do the Titans and the rest of them, they want to wipe out the mortals on here. Where does that leave them? Do they want to wipe out like all life? Just mortal life? Well, what about animals? Like what about mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, fish?
Titans don't need life to live, right?
Okay, but where?
It's not just a joke. That's actually,
I know, but what is life? Let's break it down into DNA. This is molecules. These are chemicals. Is that what the Titans are? Are they just molecules and chemicals? Are we getting down into like oxygen and just atoms?
Are they truly just like earthly
carbon?
Things?
Are we talking about is in this fantasy setting? Are the elementals? Are they just earth, wind, water, fire?
Are they
like
are they exandrial elemental entities, or is there divineness?
Right. Is this where and I went into this weird idea about what does that really mean? Like
Divinity.
if it's the gods, prime and betrayers versus the mortals, and then the eidolons are also involved in this, and they're the fragments of the the Titans, which were the elementals. I don't know. It started getting really, really too deep for myself, and I had to pull out of it. But it was
the The
I don't know. And sorry, just the last thing to tack on. As I was thinking all of these thoughts, I'm like, where does, again, back to this whole thing about Matt creating all of these things, and you start going down these rabbit holes, and there are these plot holes. Where does this leave us? Where does this all leave us in this thing? Does it even fucking matter? Does it really matter? Is it just, should we just shut up or should I just shut up and just enjoy the ride? Or what? Okay.
No, because then we wouldn't have a show.
Okay.
What was the Apex War?
Oh, the Apex War.
I'm not pulling
was,
this off yet. I'm not ready for that yet. What's the
Okay,
Apex War? Was that the
the-
Titans and the Gods?
No, the Apex War. The Apex War was the war in Marquette between the Hellcatch Valley people and the others that were there.
So this is a fairly localized.
Yeah,
Recent
it was very similar to in Campaign 2. There was the Dwendalian Empire versus
Okay.
the Kryn Dynasty. They had a war. The Apex War was also a war like that, but it involved multiple factions, not just a couple.
Not just the two empire, kingdom, whatever.
I don't
Yeah.
remember all the names. There's too many names. Can't keep track. But the Apex War was all of that.
Okay, and then the Schism.
There was no winner between the Apex War. Nobody
Schism
won.
was when the gods separated between the prime material and not prime material. Those in the betrayers. Betrayers on the other side. Was that the Schism?
No, the Schism was the battle between the gods and the Titans.
Okay, so all right, so I guess I'm talking
Yeah.
about the Schism here.
The Calamity is when they created the Divine Gate. They imprisoned the betrayers, or the betrayers were already imprisoned. The Calamity is when they created the Divine Gate. But then that was because the betrayers grew too powerful. Yeah, my Exandria history lore is limited.
Yeah, get in touch if you know. And if
Not sure.
we had the Calamity 4-shot, which was fucking epic. If you haven't
Yep.
seen it,
Mhm.
the mortals died off pretty fucking quickly. Like as soon as the Calamity started, everything was just like, oh, things all
Yeah.
crashed and everything.
a lot,
and then
a lot.
all this other shit happened, but nobody was really around to kind of write down and check it out. You know, it's like this, just like things to the annals.
Divergence. That's the word.
Divergence.
Yes.
Divergence was the gods going from betrayers to non-betrayers.
No.
What the fuck are the
No,
non-betrayers?
divergence is when they left Exandria. The gods left. They created the Divine Gate, and they left. That was the divergence. They
Right,
left.
okay.
They're behind
Okay.
the Divine Gate, and they can no longer interfere in Exandria anything.
Now, going back to your question, still not back to this thing yet.
Okay.
With the war, whatever it's called, maybe it's a schism between the Titans and the gods, whatever the fuck that's called.
Yep. Something like that.
At that time, were there mortals already on Did Exandria exist at that time yet?
Yeah, it did.
It did. Were there mortals on
Exandria was-
Exandria
No,
that
the gods,
worshipped
the
the
gods
gods, or maybe
created
were on the Titan side?
the gods created the mortals when they arrived on Exandria.
Okay.
And they had to they fought the Titans for the Titans didn't want them here.
Right.
There. They didn't want them there.
The Titans were the
Titans-
elementals that were just a part of this
They were the
natural
they were the-
entity.
Yes, that was the planet of Exandria.
Yeah.
And they
Okay.
fought. The gods arrived from the stars, whatever that
Okay.
means.
So
And
Titans
they created more. They fought the Titans and then created them. When they beat the Titans, they created the mortals that then inhabited Exandria with them.
so they had this battle before
Yeah,
mortals
Before
were
the-
created.
or it was part of it. I mean, it's something like that.
Because it's natural that a Titan would want to get rid of mortals because gods get powers from mortals. Because if you'd have
Yes.
no followers, then you don't mean
Something
shit,
like that.
right?
Something like that.
That
yeah.
whole thing, that whole symbiotic relationship where it's
Right.
like you have 2 followers, then you're a
Par-
shit god. You've got
parasitic.
fucking millions of followers. You're a strong god, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's the conjecture, going around.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
like in campaign 2, like even with the traveler,
It's-
it's like if nobody gives a shit who you are, then
Yeah,
you don't mean
then
anything, even if
you
you're
don't-
just a
right,
fucking
exactly.
archfey.
Yeah.
Huh. So it makes sense naturally that a Titan would want to get rid of followers of the gods if they still have beef, you know?
Right, because when Matt first started creating Exandria, he borrowed really heavily from Forgotten Realms lore. Right,
Okay.
all of the gods were original Forgotten Realms gods. They were all the names, and now they've slowly started changing. Like the Raven Queen is now the Dusk Maven, the Dawn Father was Palor, and now he's the Dawn Father. Saren Ray is now the Everlight. Like they have all that. He has all his new names for them, right?
Mhm.
And then the idea is, well, one of the big theories on Reddit is, it's a big long running one, is that what they're doing is he's going to tear down the Pantheon and rebuild it with a new, completely rebuilt Pantheon of gods.
Yeah. And then the whole cycle starts again.
Yeah, well, but it'll all be copyrighted and trademarked by Critical Role.
Well, it's
So
like
it'll be
the reason people have
and then
kids, to try to make sure you do better than your parents, even if
sure.
your parents were great.
But the system is going to change, because that's what the rumor is, that's when Daggerheart comes out, and that'll be their new RPG system, moving away from fifth edition.
Oh, yeah. Now you're thinking like a business person.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. That's not me. That's pretty much everybody. Everybody's like, yeah, once this campaign is done,
I'd forgotten about it.
they're going to tear it all down, rebuild it with Daggerheart, which is the name of their new system. We don't know anything about it. We don't even know. I really, 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 really hope it's going to be a D20 system, because it has to be.
That's what I'm used to, man.
They like their dice. Well, they like their dice too much.
That's why I got my dice.
Yeah,
They've got a fair amount of their business built on these dice, you know.
Absolutely.
So to be like, nope, we don't use those anymore. Be like, what the fuck, man?
It's a little disconcerting that Candela Obscura uses only D6s, so that's supporting conjecture that Daggerheart might only be, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I would doubt it, since Daggerheart's their system,
Yeah.
But
We'll
yeah.
see.
Speaking of, I didn't watch the second Candela Obscura.
Nor did I.
Oh.
I said this before. I had nothing against it. I'm happy people like it. It
Didn't draw me in. Yeah.
Steampunk stuff doesn't draw me in at all. It never has. I'm not into that kind of. Even fantasy novels when I was a kid that separated. I've always found it was interesting. A bunch of them that I read, like Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, were really good about. They wrote some series where the world magic had been shunted away, and they were trying to rediscover it and bring it back again. And it leaked in little bits and pieces here and there. I found them mildly interesting, and I read books like that when I was a kid, but they never really did it for me. I like high fantasy. That's what I want. So that's for me.
Like we said before, it's the author's job to draw you in,
Yeah.
It's okay to put a book down if it doesn't draw you in,
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody says like, no, you got to finish it, be like, okay, I'll get past the first season. Like in some shows,
Yeah.
Like a lot of people dropped Breaking Bad because they're like the first 3 episodes were slow.
Those people are idiots.
And once you get to the 4th episode, you're like, oh shit, like that's when it picks up,
Yeah.
And
Well,
like,
one of the greatest shows ever.
Gotta get through the
created.
4th episode, and then you're hooked, But maybe that's the same with Candela Obscura. The first episode
Perhaps.
didn't hook me. Second episode didn't even check it out. Maybe after 3 episodes, they might be like, dude, it's amazing.
They said this first one will be only 3 episodes. I think Marisha said that. I believe she said it at the beginning of the show. So they're
kind of, if I have that much time, which I really don't, maybe I'll check it out. That's just a lot of hours, for something that's an if,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can I get to this beautiful string on my finger?
Do it.
All right. So in that little podunk town where they had this temple that was just built there, and it was just like, all right, so we're going to put this shit on you. It sounds to me like maybe the Spanish Inquisition or something like that,
There's a lot of colonialism undertones.
Like, here's your new religion.
Sure.
Either accept it or don't. We're going to kill you if you don't, kind of thing. Now, this is a little bit less of a degree, I guess, in that direction, but because I don't think they were killing anybody. They were just taking all their fucking money, and I don't know where that money was going or where it was going to. But this goes into what they talked about, I believe, in this episode, not the Four-Sided Dive. I'm getting them mixed up right now.
Yeah, sure.
Is there's the gods' actions, and then there's how the people interpret them. And like I know many, let's say for example, Christians in my life, and some of them are just Christians and they leave me alone as an atheist, and we get along fantastically. I know some other Christians who they're like, so have you thought about it again? You know, it's like, dude, no, we're not talking about this. Like it's, you know,
I worked many years ago. I worked with a guy who felt it was his job to convert me.
and that's a lot of folks in that area,
Tough.
you know.
Yeah,
and also on the other side too, a lot of atheists are like, I got to talk to as many religious people as possible and try to get that out of their head. It's like, dude, leave it alone, you know.
Yeah.
Unless it impacts you, leave it alone.
Yep.
That's the impression I get from this situation. It's like these followers that went and, you know, leached onto this podunk town. They were like, oh, let's push our ideals, our beliefs on this tiny little town because we have the force. They need our help or something. I don't know why they would do it.
Because it was at the nexus point. That's why they were there.
Right. So maybe they had a very like
The
go to Kodiak and drill for oil because we found an oil thing. It's like, wait, hold on, man, we're doing just fine.
The nexus point is there. That's where, remember when they were doing magic and everything was a little bit more powerful?
Yeah.
That's why they wanted the Dawn Father Temple there. That's why Vasselheim had so much vested interest in this place, is because it was at a nexus point, and magic is more powerful at nexus points.
And did the Dawn Father want that, or was it just the followers saying, "Hey, let's go try to commandeer it"? You know.
Listen, man, the Dawn Father sent an angel, so.
Good point.
Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean,
it definitely
haven't been a big fan of the Dawn Father in this last few. You know,
he's a bit of a dick.
Seems kind of like a dick. Yeah.
Yep. Lawful good gods mostly are. That's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons why they're kind of getting. Oh, there's the sun's coming back out again.
Yeah, I can see that.
One of the reasons why the D&D is sort of getting rid of alignments, because it becomes problematic like that. It's not lawful good becomes lawful stupid, and it doesn't. Yeah. Gets a little.
Yeah, and it often seems inconsequential. Like it doesn't change your dice rolls. It just changes what the DM might choose for you or something, right?
Hey, you're getting a little glitchy there. Are you okay? Am I getting a little glitchy for you?
I haven't noticed a problem, but we do have a lightning storm outside. It might be a thing.
I'm checking some stuff here. I don't know. Yeah, your video's really glitchy for me, but hopefully it's just for me.
I'm not seeing any frame drops. 0% frame drop.
Okay.
The stream should be good. Okay. How's my audio coming through?
Fine.
Fine? Okay.
Yeah, totally fine.
Are we yes and we're going to the next rollie? We're already at 48 minutes, dude. Let's get through this, man.
Let's get through this. Let's do another rollie.
Another rollie, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another 2.
Another 9. Man, this Ford die, you know? I'm gonna take credit instead of your shitty die. Let's see. I guess I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna stick with the main campaign for now. I've got 2 little things that I might want to bring up for Foresighted Dive, but I didn't notice them when they realized that they had that harness that they discovered, and they realized that it was backwards.
Yeah.
You know, and like you actually put it back here.
Yep.
The whole time I'm sitting there like, oh, that's what Oda Thul had under that cape. And in this episode, nobody said anything about it, as far as I could tell.
She had the backpack, right, which had the canisters in the backpack, and we'd sort of think they may have been filled with Dunaman's juice.
Yeah,
maybe
Duna juice. Yeah, and my only thought the whole time was this thing must have been a prototype for that machine.
Probably, yeah.
And
something like
nobody
that,
said
right?
anything.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like this is all they're playing with all these tools because they need weapons against the immortality or for more immortality against more, like, to fight the gods, right? The whole idea that feeding the root thing, I didn't really understand that. I was like, is that the piece of wood?
I don't know what's going on there either.
I think that piece of wood was supposed to be a root, and they would put it on the harness, and then when they would suck the life out of the Fae, then the life force out of the Fae, life force would go into that piece of wood, which was the root. So that was the feeding the root reference. I didn't really understand it. I hope they explain it at some point. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the way that Ashley just brought it back up so prominently.
Because it's a weird thing to write down in a book, is just feeding the root. Got to feed the root. Feeding the root.
Says it 3 times.
Very
just
weird.
Confuses everybody. Like, all right, man, take it easy. Whatever this root is you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loosely remember feeding the root showing up at some point, but Ashley's a peculiar person, so is Fern.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know. She just adhered to it. I don't remember what it was like at all. There's so much shit going on in this fucking campaign.
There's a lot, man.
It's hard to keep track.
I'm just gonna bring it up. What is your this will be my yes end. If it won't be my
Yeah,
yes end, maybe switching gears a little bit. What's your take on the Imogen Laudna romance? Marisha goes 3 for 3 now. She's got all 3 campaigns now.
It's 3 for 3 with Marisha.
As soon as I was thinking it even before he said it. I was like, oh, that's all 3 now. And then boom, he says it. I'm like, What do you think? I dig it. I think I'm kind of into it. I like the idea.
It makes sense, I mean, you're that close and you spend that much time together. They obviously love each other a lot.
Trauma breeds this sort of thing as well.
For sure. So. And time apart, especially, makes the heart grow fonder and stuff.
Yep.
I didn't see it coming. In fact, like when I heard it the first time, she was like, "Can I kiss you?" I was on my balcony. I was like, watching a game, and I was like, and I didn't hear anything for a couple of seconds, and I was like, "What?" So I went and got the phone, and then I saw everybody's reaction to it, and I'm like, "Wait, hold on a second." I had to go back and look at it again.
Yeah, like a few seconds after that, did you see what? Like this is the craziest thing. I love that Sam was wearing the Rakshasa outfit the whole time, and nobody mentioned it at all. Not even not even once did they say a single thing. But when Laudna, when Imogen says, "Can I kiss you?" and then she does, and then they have a little bit of a moment. Everybody, or Laura, I think, turned and looked at Sam, because did you see this part of it? Where he's like holding his tiger outfit, and he doesn't even realize it. He's like, he just lets it go. The best.
Oh, come on. He knew what he was doing.
I don't think he did.
No,
I don't
come
think he
on.
realized
You can't believe that he doesn't know that he's holding this up like some kind of big old boner.
The reaction, I think his reaction, I think it was genuine.
Maybe.
If it wasn't, if it wasn't, he got me.
Tell us what you
genuine
think,
to me.
Mm-hmm. I think he was totally doing it on purpose. It's Sam. Of course he's doing it on purpose and then acting like he's not. Come on. That's how I feel.
Okay.
But yeah, that was about the 131 mark that you said?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, because you said you were in tears because Sam was on fire.
Yes.
At one point. Was that it?
That was the moment. He had been so good. So good. It was just on fire. I was loving it. Should we do another rollies? I got a couple more points, maybe one more.
Yeah, I've basically got one more after that if I really want to. But the one after that,
dice down.
You gonna go retrieve it? Rollies. I'm getting myself with a 6.
All right. 18.
Hey, Ben finally gets one.
I gotta win.
He's got a way to die, everybody.
Okay. I want to talk about the going into the Dusk Maven temple, and then Liam just can't resist the Raven Queen, eh?
Good point. Didn't think about that.
this
Ooh, that was a big flash.
This vision that they had with they stepped out. Fucking well done, Matthew Mercer. That they did not catch it at all.
It's a storm out there. Sorry, bud.
Oh, cool. They did not catch this at all until they opened the doors, and then they saw they were in Ruidus in the moon. Sorry, at the
little vision thing, you mean?
Little vision that they had in the
That
temple.
was awesome, the way Matthew did it. Fucking mint.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Caught them all by surprise.
Yeah.
And then
He's
they,
like, the
and then
moment you touch the door, they
screaming-
fly open.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Nobody knew it was a vision. It was beautiful.
Not at all. The screaming of Vax, assuming it's Vax. Yeah.
That
And then
hurt.
I love the way
That hurt.
it did a lot. I love the way that Liam was like, yeah, I wouldn't know that. Like, I wouldn't know that was him. I wouldn't know the connection for Keyleth.
He
wouldn't
asked
know any
that,
of
didn't he?
He did, and Matt
He was
like,
you would hear
"No,
about it, but you don't really know. Yeah.
you wouldn't know about that." Like not 2 minutes later, Laura starts. You got a little metagamey there about. She was like, "Well, Imogen sort of starts piecing everything together. All right, because Ludinus
yeah.
did this to get Keyleth, to get this character who came in and then did the thing, so it must mean something to her, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, that's a little
metagamey. She's
little
not
bit.
that intelligent.
Yep.
You know,
It's not even so much being that intelligent. It's that seeing that chain of events shouldn't actually trigger those. So then we got to go see Keyleth about this.
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
a little problem with it. Just a little bit.
unless Imogen had seen campaigns 1 and 2, I don't think she would put that shit together as well.
I don't think anybody
you know?
would put that together.
Yeah. But I don't think Imogen has seen Critical Role. I don't think that works that way.
Yeah, that's sort of my thing, is that like having these, that it was a really, really cool event. I like what it did, and I like that they're on their way to Zephyr. I wish they'd kind of come at it a different way.
You think it
That's
happened
all.
a little bit too sudden because of what she said?
It felt a little forced. Yeah.
Huh. You mean like somebody was writing?
No, not that forced. It felt like it's metagamey a little,
Yeah.
little tiny little bit,
think-
which is, I don't really have a problem with it because it's fun, but I think that it could have been hashed out in a different way.
And here's what I think I would do in that situation to hash it out a little bit better. I'm not a very good player, but I have watched the show a ton, and I talk with you on a very regular basis. I think I have a good foundation on how you do this. I would probably, if I was in Laura's shoes, and if I wasn't Laura and trying to cheat all the time, I would say, and I know you're watching, Laura, calling you out, I would say, DM, question, would I be able to put together these legs of the journey?
That's
to
the way.
put this one and this one and this one and this one and this one because I know this, but would my character know it? And he'd be like, you know what? Make an intelligence or a history or religion check. You know, depending on that roll, that would change what I say next.
That's definitely one way to go about it, to figure those sorts of things out.
Because I don't want to step on toes, you know,
Yeah.
especially Matthews, for fuck's sake.
That's sort of the point, right? Is that you're not only stepping on Matt's toes, but you're stepping on like other characters' toes and other PCs that may have opinions about things, and there's a chance, small one, but there's a chance you're taking agency away from other players at the table.
Right.
Just a little bit. Like it could be. There's not that you have to be completely aware of that at all times and be careful with that, because trust is trust, right? But
Yeah. And again, they have tons of trust at this table.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more the kind of person where it's like, there are 2 elevators and this one is full. I'd be like, don't worry, guys, I'll get the next one. Just let the door
Right.
close and I'll take this
Right.
one. Whereas Laura, she's going in there and she's stepping on 5 people's toes because it's Laura time.
it was also like while they were sort
Exaggerating,
of
Laura, I know you're watching.
while they were kind of chatting about all that stuff and about going to Zephyra and going to talk to Keyleth and see what's going on with her, there was a moment off. This is off cam. It's not off camera, but it's like there's another conversation happening, and if you didn't have the subtitles on, you might have missed it. But Laura actually says, and this might be the first time she says it, 3 hours, 34 minutes, 52 seconds on the Twitch stream. It's the first time Imogen, maybe, has openly said her powers might come from Predathos.
Her powers, say it again. I got a fan here.
Her powers might come from Predathos.
I did not catch that.
It was said in behind somebody else's conversation. And the only reason I caught it was because the subtitles were on. And I saw it and I was like, wait, what? Click,
Both
click,
them.
click, click. Went back and I'm like, oh, she does say it to Fern, to
Say, who'd
Ashley.
you say it to?
She says it to Fern. She's like, yeah, Predathos. The powers might come from Predathos. And
Like,
I was
did she say it to Ashley or did she say it to Fern?
it's tough to say.
You know?
Yeah, it's tough to say. She kind of does a lot of things in her
Yeah,
that
that
image
means her
the
mom's
image
powers would too, right?
100%. So it becomes sort of a, okay, they're sorcerers. Their their magic is just sort of given, just innately comes from within them. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe it actually does come from Predathos. I don't know.
Maybe that's, oh, fuck.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a thing.
That's a thing. That's a big
It's
thing.
been that might be the first time she's openly said it, right? Because it's been conjectured and speculated a lot.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I figured that if it was a bandaged, caged god, then you wouldn't have access to their powers.
Well, I mean, like, remember when Laudna even says in this episode, like, Imogen's powers are tremendous. She destroyed an entire city block, and she does all these amazing things. So, like, there's been quite a bit of speculation that, yeah, where do those powers come from? They might come from an imprisoned god on a moon somewhere, or a imprisoned god eater.
And they're also very new powers to me as a viewer. I've never seen this telepathy kind of stuff, you know. I've never seen it before, but I'm also not well versed in the D&D worlds. Is this a fairly normal path that you can take? Like if I start a game?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
For sure.
I just never seen it before.
Like
and Predathos is also new for me, so
that's very new.
It makes
for all
sense
of us.
that these two might go together.
Canonically, telepathy has been around from the earliest editions, specifically with illithids, mind flayers. That's sort of, way back in campaign 1
first part of the shit that we saw.
With the mind flayers. And I mean, they go back way back when I was a kid first playing this game, that there was a problem. It's rough. Most parties most tables stay away from it because like even as we've seen at this table, it's complicated.
It's hard.
It can really overcomplicate things. So most people just stay away from it. They're like, yeah, it's not worth getting into because it makes things very, very difficult. Or it can.
I remember early on, you and I talked about it, I asked you, I was like, don't you think that's gonna complicate shit? Like especially for Matthew. It's like I can just read minds like at that base level, and then if you want to go deeper, sure, there's a fucking check and all that. But
yeah, it's a problem. It's a serious problem.
Yeah, she can sit there and read anybody's base thoughts without a fucking, and I saw troubles with that just because I'd never seen it before. I'd never seen Matthew deal with it before. I don't know, but so far it's been going just fine. And then like when Frida picked it up, and then fucking FCG can do it now too or something.
Yeah, I think
FCG's always been able to kind of do it, but
no, I don't think he's got mind reading yet. I think he's got the dream stuff, but Frida definitely was able to.
Took that feat, right? Which we talked about last time.
We speculate, yeah. Hey, listen, dude, it's 6:30. You got a thing you got to do, right?
Yeah. Let me just do a quick little yes and then I guess.
Sure.
I'm going to jump back to four-sided dive. Quick little thing.
Nope.
Amy said Emily is the ultimate expander. And I had an idea where it's like, okay, so you have this character and like you're able to expand your story? And I was like, I don't really understand what that means. So, and nobody really said anything past it.
They were talking,
Thoughts?
I believe, in context. They were talking about
how awesome she was.
Yeah, basically, exactly, and her ability to take a spell or an ability or something and expand on it, make it bigger, create more out of it, like the ability, like something like I'm going to enlarge Mother and then hang glide from it.
Oh,
that kind of an idea where you can take a thing and then expand on it, build on it to do something else with it.
Huh.
I think that's more what they were talking about.
Like, Eldritch Blast. Like, okay, go ahead, roll for those, and then they roll for it. Or you got Caleb Widogast who says like, I take some of this and I squelch it through my hand, and a wall of fire goes across the boat.
Yeah.
And that's where we're gonna pick up next time. Like,
Yeah.
just he expands. Is that the kind of expansion that we're talking about?
No, I think it's slightly different. I mean, that's descriptive. That's descriptive.
Okay.
I
see.
think she's more talking about the ultimate expander, in that you're able to take things and use them in ways that nobody really thought about.
Like super creative, yeah.
Sam's really good at that, right? Like using fucking fluffernutter, right? Like he wanted to become a powder monkey so he can make bombs. This sort of idea, right? Sam is really, really clever with that. Jester was really good with it as well.
Fluffernutter.
Those sorts of ideas, like here's a thing that is sort of raw in D&D, read as written, but you're going to twist it and use it in a different way. I think that's more what she was referring to. And I mean, it's being clever. It's being very clever.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of the gist I got from it, where she wasn't just like, here's what I do. It's like, DM, can I actually try this? And be like,
Yep.
go ahead and make a roll, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I got out of that comment. Is like, yeah.
Just wanted to hear what you had to say about that. 'Cause
I think so.
Didn't really,
That's sort
I didn't
of
quite get it.
That's sort of my take on it. Is that that's how it works.
Yeah. Subjective for sure.
For
yeah,
sure.
dude, it's an hour over. Or, sorry, 5 minutes over an hour.
Let's
It's
call it.
6:30.
I'm good. I've got through all my thoughts.
All right, I have one, but it's not important. So let's
Next
go ahead and
episode in
skip that.
Zephyra.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, to see how they
gonna be
deal
good.
with Keyleth. You know, fuck's sake.
So speaking of, what are we gonna do for the next few weeks?
Good point. I am leaving tomorrow night to
Yeah,
go
man, I'm
back to
excited for you.
Kodiak, Alaska for
excited.
about a month.
Cool.
So I will not be back for a while.
Yeah.
Here's what
It's
I
a-
figure.
It's a tough time difference. That's what is it? 14 hours?
It's
15? 16?
16 backwards. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
so like
tough.
16
That's
in
a
the past.
tough one.
Yeah. Like if I call my parents, it's got to be like 7 in the morning, and it's like
Right.
5 p.m. for them,
Right.
you know? Which means I either haven't slept or I'm wasted. It's awful. I feel
So
bad
that's
for
gonna
them.
be really tough for us to sync up. So maybe I suggest we just take a break for a month.
Yeah, I think that's what we're
See.
gonna have to do. And nice thing is, we do always have that week in between. You know, that break that
Yeah.
they have, where
Yeah.
we could still go on that week too and just catch
That's
up.
good. It's
know.
all good.
Just we got 66, 67, and then 68 in the time that I'm gone. Right?
It looks that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll see how it goes.
gone for 3
when's your-
weeks, 3
Yeah.
episodes. Just
Yeah.
catch up on them eventually. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be out for a bit.
Cool.
So I guess we'll
That's
be
all
out
good.
for a bit. Yeah.
We'll still be chatting. We can still have our conversations, and then we'll have a lot to talk about when we get back.
Yeah, sure. And also, fucking comments, man. We do have an email if you want to get in touch. Jeez, have
Yeah.
you checked the email anytime recently?
Nope. Don't send emails.
Usually,
don't send any emails to
Don't
us.
do
We don't.
emails. Yeah.
Just
Get them on
comment.
Twitter. Get them on Instagram. Get me on
Yeah.
Instagram. Speaking of which, all right. So I'm gonna be gone for a month. So we're gonna taking a month off, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
catch up, on the episodes as we go. Speaking of
Post on-
Instagram.
Post down below, and we'll chat. We'll have a conversation there if you want to.
Yeah, at all times, any episode right there. And also, hey, Ben,
Hey Tim.
about late last week or something like that, I had an album that just got released.
I heard about this.
Finally. It was a lot the final mastering process and uploading to streaming services happened a lot faster than we expected. It was like, all right, they're going up and they're going to let us know when they're up on Spotify, Apple Music, all the things. And they're like, it could take up to 2 weeks. 2 days later, they were like, here you go. We're like, oh, shit. It was on YouTube first and then Spotify, then Apple, and everything else fell in line.
I may have listened to it a few times.
Oh, yeah?
May have. Maybe.
Cheers, buddy. So did I. I found that YouTube, which is the free one, was louder
Oh,
than
really?
Spotify and Apple.
Interesting.
So I prefer to use YouTube, which is the free app.
Hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to post links in the chat. Please check it out. Also, get in touch with us here in the comments. If not, you can contact Ben at Ben Greenspoon on all the socials. You can contact me at drummatucka on Instagram. I'm not on the other ones. And yeah, we're taking a month off, so
he was removed from all other forms of social media.
all of them. Oh yeah, wait, you got Threads now too, don't you?
Oh yeah, I got Threads. Yeah, Ben Greenspoon on Threads too. It's all the
Yeah.
same shit.
Maybe I should jump on that just to get my name. You know?
It's just Twitter for Instagram. That's all it is.
Right, but what if drummatucka's taken because somebody wanted my name? You know?
No, they can't. It's part of Instagram.
It's attached to.
Yeah.
Oh,
Facebook.
all right.
Facebook. Meta owns all three, right? Meta
Okay,
is
so I got
Facebook,
nothing to worry
Instagram,
about.
and Threads. So yeah, you're fine.
All right, cool. Well, hey y'all, get in touch, follow us, check out the album, get in the links below. And yeah, we'll see you in a month.
Woo!
Yeah. So is it? If nothing else, is it finally next Friday? Don't forget to love each other. And I was supposed to say that later. Wait, no, don't forget to love each other. And is it next Friday?
There you go.
There it is. I'll get it back eventually.
Yeah.
Peace, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for
Peace
checking
out.
us out.
Yeah, man. We love you all.